got a mock draft Monday. Didn't do one last week just because it was a March Madness heavy episode. We're going to get more NFL content, more NFL draft prep going this week. Let's just dive right in. I haven't done one since the Miami Dolphins traded Jalen Waddle, so that should be a whole lot of fun. But obviously, at the 101, it's Fernando Mendoza, and I feel like the Jets you're pretty much penciled in here with Arvell Reese. If this fucking clicker would work. And also, Chad, if you've noticed, I can't speak. I have been at war with pollen, and I'm getting my ass kicked. I also got sunburn. That's why we're going sleeveless today. The sunburn's just absolutely brutal. But I think Arvell Reese a lock at 2. I think the Cardinals at 3 could go a multitude of positions. I don't think they go receiver right away. I have some new developments in my offensive lineman rankings. I think Fano is the best offensive lineman. I'm not that big on Francis Mauiaga. I think Fano's a right tackle, so that might have him slipping a little bit. And I have to watch more of Mauiaga, but I think that Fano's the best pass protector in this class. And I think that's just way more valuable than anything you get in the run game. And that's where Mauiaga specializes. A beast, is a mauler of the run game. They ran that Mark Fletcher right behind his ass all playoffs. But I don't think the Cardinals go offensive line here, even though they really could. I just think there's too much defensive talent. And I think they go with David Bailey, the edge out of Texas Tech, pair him up with Josh Sweat and Walter Nolan on the interior. I think that's a pretty solid core defensive line here for the Arizona Cardinals, who had a really quiet, good free agency with some value signings like Isaac Seumalo, Kendrick Bourne, and Tyler Algier. So I think that would be the cherry on top to a under the radar, but really efficient offseason for the Arizona Cardinals. The Titans at 4, I think because the Commanders got a running back, the Saints signed a running back, the Chiefs signed a running back, I think this means that Jeremiah Love is going to the Tennessee Titans at number 4 overall. Or the Giants, I wouldn't, I think he's going here. I forget, didn't the Commanders get a running back? Didn't they trade for a running back? Am I clueless? Either way, I don't remember what the Commanders did. My brain's mush. I've been in March Madness mode, but I got to start getting back into the NFL draft vibe because that's where the content's going to be headed the next few weeks as we lead up to the NFL draft. But the Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker. The Saints signed Travis Etienne. I forget what the Commanders did, but my gut telling me that they did something in the RB market as well. Jeremiah Love to Tennessee at 4. And then if you're the Giants here, you go who your favorite defensive player is. And I think they'd go Sonny Styles. There's some concerns with Caleb Downs' knee. I think that's a crock of shit and smoke. But either way, Sonny Styles is just a key. He might be the most can't miss prospect in this draft, like him and Jeremiah Love. He is just a beast. Pair him up with Tremaine Edmonds, and they have a need at linebacker that fills it perfectly. And what a front seven the Giants would have put together in 2 off seasons, well, 2.5, 3 off seasons. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, Sonny Styles, Tremaine Edmonds. That's disgusting. The Browns at 6, they have a lot of needs as well, more on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball. But I could see them going with like a Reuben Bain, and then you have Mason Graham, Myles Garrett, Reuben Bain on the same defense. I just think that would be so disgusting. And I don't care about Reuben Bain's arm length. I think he's a stud no matter what. That's what Cleveland does here. Best player available. And then Caleb Downs falling right into the lap of the Washington Commanders is absolutely unbelievable for them. They need help at safety. They need help in the secondary. They did bring in Nick Cross from Indianapolis. That's not enough. He's like a box safety. He's going to line up down low. Caleb Downs falling. They got to just be perfect. I don't care about the knee thing. Dude's a stud. He's about as much of a can't miss prospect as Sonny Styles, but the knee thing could actually be a problem. I'm not sure if it is or it isn't. So we have him there. The Saints at 8. The Saints have to go defense here. They could go wide receiver. They don't have a wide receiver 2 outside of Chris Olave, but they lost to Mario Davis. They lost Cameron Jordan. They lost Alontae Taylor. They could go corner here at Mansour Delane, who I think is the CB1 in this class, and then shore up him with Kool-Aid McKinstry. They still have holes at safety. They still have holes at edge rusher, but there's not an edge rusher here that you're going to take. They could go wide receiver, but I think this is where we see the best corner come off the board, and that's Mansour Delane to the New Orleans Saints. And now the Chiefs released their right tackle, forgetting his name. He would false start every single play, and they have Jalen Moore at right tackle. Caleb Lomu, or no, excuse me, Spencer Fano is the best pass protecting tackle in this draft. Could you see the Chiefs just pick him and then you have a Jalen Moore in another training camp battle with another rookie, the same way he was in the battle last year with Josh Simmons? I think that's completely possible. However, there is a wide receiver in this draft that I think is just an incredible scheme fit with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is Mekhi Lemon, man. The way Mekhi Lemon can find the soft spots in the zone, it's really Travis Kelce-esque. Travis Kelce is only getting older. He may be on the way out. This might be his last season. Get a guy that can sit in the soft spots of the zone and be a problem after the catch, has a ridiculous catch radius for a guy that does have his size. Like, he just makes some incredible contested catches. The ball skills are off the charts. I just feel like Mekhi Lemon would be such a scheme fit, such a fit at a position of kind of need for the Chiefs. Like, obviously Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are good receivers, but can Rashee Rice stay out of trouble? And I think these three, Mekhi, Rashee, and Xavier Worthy, would all complement each other at a really, really high level, because Xavier Worthy could take the top off for defense. Rashee Rice can be the guy that you motion and get him. He can take a drag or a quick slant for 50 yards. Then you have a guy in Mekhi Lemon that can just be such a real reliable chain mover. If Josh Simmons develops and Jalen Moore is league average at right tackle, this offense with Kenneth Walker now and a healthy O-line would be one of the best in the NFL. And I feel like Mekhi Lemon is just so good of a fit for the Chiefs at 9. And what Patrick Mahomes likes to do with Travis Kelce, where Kelsey's just going to ad-lib, find the soft spot in the zone. Mekhi Lemon does that better than any receiver in this draft. So I'm going to go Mekhi Lemon at 9 to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals are going to be pressed. That Mansour Delane is off the board here. They're not going to be happy about it, but they do need some offensive line help. Orlando Brown and Armarius Mims are fine, not exactly elite. They go Spencer Fanu here, but they need defense. Like, there's no world where the Bengals don't go defense. Jermon McCoy is still a really good player, high ceiling, but we haven't seen him play since halfway through the 2024 season. Either way, I think he's probably the best defensive player available in a position of need, because they did lose Cam Taylor-Britt. They did lose BJ Hill, so they could go interior with a guy like Caden McDonald, who I think is incredibly underrated. A guy like Peter Woods. There are some really good edges still on the board here, but I just feel like they need corner help. They go and get a lockdown guy in Jermon McCoy. The Miami Dolphins, they're going wide receiver after trading Jalen Waddle, and they're in a spot where Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson would be staring them in the face. They go Carnell Tate here so that one guy in my comment section on Instagram isn't upset about it, even though I think Jordan Tyson's a better wide receiver than Carnell Tate. This is absolutely fan service, but either way, they go receiver here. I don't really care who it is. And ironically enough, Jordan Tyson's still on the board. I think he's the best receiver in this draft class. And we got to trade the Cowboys. There's no corners on the board here for Dallas, so we got to trade. The Cowboys move back with, I don't know what's on the board here. What do people need on the board here? Offensive linemen. There's offensive linemen all over the place. The Cowboys move back with a team that needs offensive linemen help. Who needs O-line? The New England Patriots, Dallas Cowboys. Oh, wait, hold on. Dallas Cowboys, New England Patriots. They go 12. The Patriots go 31, 63, and a first next year. 31 and a first next year. The Patriots come up and they snag Jordan Tyson from the Dallas Cowboys, who move back to 20. They pick up another first next year. So now they have 20 and 31. Really good move for the Cowboys, and then a really good move for the Patriots. They get an elite receiver. I think Jordan Tyson's absolutely worth 2 first-round picks, and that first-round pick ideally next year for the Patriots would be a late-round pick. So I think the Patriots are a team to keep an eye out to come and move up and try and secure one of those 3 elite receivers if they fall down the board. Now you have the Rams at 13. What do the Rams do? I think they go best defensive player available. They just go BPA all the time. And I think the best player available right now is either Kenyon Sadiq or I think it's Caden Proctor. Like, maybe I just haven't watched enough of Clemson's defense. I've watched a little bit, and I know that I'm out on Avion Terrell for now. Like, I would rather take a D'Angelo Pons or a Brandon Cease than have a little bit later than take an Avion Terrell. But they have Tuna Ford. They have Braden Fisk, they have Jared Verse, they have Byron Young. Like, there's a bunch of edge rushers on the board here that they would need. They did lose their right tackle, but McClendon is just a beast, man. He was awesome for them in the time he had to start last year, so they should have a need not filled at right tackle. I think the Rams could really trade out here too for a team that needs to come up and get some edge help, right? Like, there's plenty of teams. Whoa, like there's plenty of teams that have needs at offensive lineman or at the edge position. Like, what are we thinking here? Could the Panthers come up? And I don't think anybody here is worth that much, though. These rankings are all out of whack, though. Let's look at the defensive side of the ball. Like, the best player in my mind is Caden McDonald, still available here. And Keldrick Folk's a dog. I like Messidor and I like Cassius Howell, but Cassius Howell is way down on the Pro Football Network's rankings. And then offensively, the best player is probably Spencer Fanu. I mean, Olamavege Ioane is a beast, but LA's interior offensive line is solid. So I think, you know what happens? The Ravens trade up one spot with the Rams to secure their tackle of the future. Where's Baltimore? The Ravens trade up with the Rams to secure their tackle of the future with Ronnie Stanley aging. They did just lose, what's his face? Tyler Linderbaum. So they could go 14. And then we'll go 115 or 13. Propose. Confirm. Trade has been rejected. Go fuck yourself. What? Dude, this is pissing me off. I don't want to make edits, so we're just going to pick Kenyon Sadiq to the Rams. Fuck it. Best offensive player available. Get Stafford another playmaker to be an absolute assassin with Kenyon Sadiq. And then the Ravens go interior offensive line with Olamavege Ioane. And we have a lot of good tackles on the board here, chat. We really do. And the Bucks have good tackle play. And that hasn't exactly been the healthiest. I fucked up here by having 4 of these tackles still on the board. I can't lie. But the Bucks need edge. The Bucks need edge more than anything. So they go with Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. They need help on the defensive line. The Jets now at 16, they still need help defensively. Dylan Thieneman is a beast. Go safety here. They need a safety. It's like Nashawn Wright in their secondary with Quantez Stiggers. I don't even know who they're saying. They lost Tony Adams. Oh, fucking dumbass. They just traded for Mika Fitzpatrick. Get Dylan Thieneman to pair next to him or go interior defensive line. Even though they addressed the interior defensive line in free agency, they can still use one. They can still use one. You can never have too many. Just get a real hole clogger to put up next to Devondre. So I don't think so. Go Dylan Thieneman. This dude is a beast. High IQ, good athlete, physical player. And then you got your pick of the litter here for the Lions. And I think they go Spencer Fanu. The Vikings have injury problems on their offensive line. Literally every single year, Darisaw can't stay on the field. They go with Mariaga. The Panthers, they have Taylor Moton and their left tackle, Ike Ekwonu, who's pretty solid. So they would probably go defense here. If they were to go defense, they did shore up that defensive line. Go get a beast in Caden McDonald to pair up next to not Dwayne Brown. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Is it Dwayne Brown? My brain's mush, chat. Forgive me. But the gross ass defensive tackle they had in Carolina. Go pair him up with Caden McDonald. I think is better than Peter Woods. I mean, Caden McDonald had 6 hands on him, basically 4 hands on him, basically every single play, and he was just clogging. He was just picking up blockers for Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs to get downhill and just make plays. Like, that's what he was doing. So shout out Caden McDonald. He goes to Carolina. The Cowboys at 20. I feel like they'd have to go defense here as well. And why not take an experienced edge rusher who has a variety of edge rush moves in Akeem Messidor here to go on the other side of, who is it, Donovan Ezeraku, Kenny Clark. Oh my gosh, Alabama is just not missing against Texas Tech right now. The Steelers at 21. They need offensive line help as well, but I don't know, man. Their defense has shaped up pretty solid. I got to look at their depth chart because I feel like they're like Troy Fatuanu and Broderick Jones suck. So they definitely need offensive line help. There's no 2 ways about it. But they also need some receiver help, man. I know they got Michael Pittman, DK. They could use running back. They could use interior offensive line help because they did just lose Isaac Sayamalu. They could just go receiver as well. I mean, you could never have too many weapons. Could they go Ty Simpson here? That's a big question mark. I don't know, man. They seem like the most logical team to go. Ty Simpson. They could go tackle. There are some really good tackles on the board. Roderick Jones sucks. Let's just take a quick look at this Steelers depth chart, shall we, chat? Let's take a really close look at it. Because I'm pretty sure they had somebody else playing tackle that wasn't Broderick Jones last year. Let's see. Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier. No, so it was Broderick Jones. That guy fucking sucks. They need a tackle. I think he had a better year, though. I feel like I don't want Steelers fan to rip me for going tackle here when they do need, like, what are their needs defensively? Like, they brought in a really, really good corner in Jamel Dean. They have good safety play. They have another good corner on the other side with JPJ. They're off-ball linebackers. Peyton Wilson, solid. They could go interior defensive tackle to replace Cam Hayward, but they did just draft Derek Harmon. Their edges are in a really good spot with TJ Watt, Nate Herbig, Alex Highsmith. So they could go edge here. This is a tough team, man. They're a tough team. I think they'll probably just go best defensive player available. And I want to say, like, Lee Hunter is a fucking problem as well. But Peter Woods is just an athletic freak. The Steelers just sure up on the defense. That is a really Steelers pick. Like, they don't go need, they go BPA. The Chargers, they need offensive line help, but they need it on the interior. Their tackles are good, and there's a bunch of really good tackles off the board right now. So that's a tough call here. I think the Chargers should probably go corner defense. I like D'Angelo Pons better than any of the corners on the board here, but everybody seems to like Avion Terrell except me. The Chargers go corner. The Eagles, Lane Johnson's getting old. They go offense. They go Monroe Freeling. Get Lane Johnson's replacement. The Browns need offense. They're salivating if Caleb Lumu falls this far. They go offensive line at the end of the first round as well. The Bears at 25 are an interesting team. They didn't fully address their edge rusher position. They're in a really good spot now to get a good edge, whether it's TJ Parker, whether it's Cassius Howell. Why is Cassius Howell so low on here? I think that dude is a stud. You get a productive, experienced edge rusher to throw on the other side of Montez Sweat with Gravon Dexter and Grady Jarrett on the interior of that defensive line. I think that's a really solid move for the Bears. The Bills still need receiver help. Like, I don't think they're just good at receiver, but they also need help at rushing the passer. They did bring in Bradley Chubb this offseason. They could also use an off-ball linebacker, and CJ Allen is a beast. So I think CJ Allen here makes a lot of sense. The Commanders need offensive line help with Toronto, or with oh my gosh, why can't I hit Trent Williams? He might have one for that door. What is Trent? Oh, I forgot to come back to the tab. Wow, that I'm a clown. But what is Trent Williams' status here? Let me Google that real quick. Because I remember seeing a notification about Trent Williams, but I don't know if he's returning. If he's not returning, they go with Caden Proctor here. Easy. Trent Williams. 49ers pass on Trent Williams option. Okay, so they're probably going to re-sign him. Then they go with my favorite receiver in this second crop, and that is Omar Cooper Jr., elite separator. Not the greatest at catching the ball on contact, not the greatest in tracking balls over his shoulder, but really good hands at times. Again, he struggled with the contested catch stuff when there was someone trailing him. But if he has to make a catch over the middle of the field and embrace contact, he can do that at a really high level, and he's really good after the catch as well. But what jumps off the screen about Omar Cooper is simply his separation ability. He's just a beast. The Texans, they shored up their offensive line this offseason. They did, so they could go really wherever they want. I feel like they did just go receiver heavy last year with Jalen Knoll and Jaden Higgins. Nico Collins is still a beast. They traded for David Montgomery. What did the Texans do? I need to refresh my memory. I forget what they did at offensive tackle. I think they got an old guy. Didn't they go with the Colts tackle? And then they have Ariante Ursere on the other side, who had a better rookie season than a lot of people will give him credit for, especially in the second half. Let me see. They have, Braden Smith, Ariante Ursere, Wyatt Teller. Their offensive line is looking way better this year than it was last year. So I don't think they necessarily go offensive line. Like, they could just go best player available. However, I will tell you this, Braden Smith is not a long-term solution at right tackle. And I think Caden Proctor, very raw talent, but the dude is a beast. Like, he's 6'7", 366. That's just ridiculous. The dude's a problem. Really raw talent, but just such a physical presence that the Texans go with their cornerstone offensive tackle, hopefully. And now the Chiefs here are licking their chops, man. This is exactly where the Chiefs wanted to be with their pick of the second tier of corners. And I think D'Angelo Pons is the best one of the group. He goes to the Kansas City Chiefs in what has just been a cornerback factory. And now the Dolphins also need corner here as well. They go with either Colton Hood or Brandon Cease. I haven't watched enough tape on either of them, but I've seen more people talk about Cease than Hood. So they go with Brandon Cease. The Cowboys, they traded back with the Patriots, and now they're in a really good spot. Again, this is where we might see a late run on corners, man, the second tier of corners. So they go with Colton Hood. I have to watch these two some more. I have watched a little bit of Keith Abney, and I was not totally impressed. The Seahawks, they just go best player available at this point. And I think that would be Emmanuel McNeil Warren. And they did lose Kobe Bryant in free agency as well. So that's just nasty, nasty, nasty. Where's my mock draft, bro? Where's my mock draft, man? What the heck? Why can't I see it, dude? Why can't I see my mock draft? Oh, there we go. All right, that is mock draft Monday, mock draft like 6.0 now from the kid. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know where you disagree in the comments. If you made it this far, like and subscribe. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys in the next mock draft Monday, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode of the Fire Sports Takes podcast.